Hey everybody, Josh Rundquist here. Sadly, making another episode of Something Gives with Josh Rundquist. If you've known anything about the show, or maybe this is the first time you're checking in, my original plan for the show was to make this a weekly show talking to different musicians about how they deal with their mental health struggles and how to improve themselves. Sadly, the show never became that. It really did become more of just introspection on my own life, dealing with my own demons, and I had to put the show on ice in 2019 when everything became unbearable, and I learned way too many dark secrets about my family that I can't even post here, which I did for so many other things in this series if you check out the past episodes. Last year, I did make an update, the first one in 4 years at the time, and I was kind of hoping that would be the last one, but for some reason tonight, as I'm recording this at 2:30 in the morning on June 29th, 2024, I do feel like I have to make another episode. The reason why I struggle with this so much is simply due to the fact that it did not turn out the way that I wanted it to. I really did want this to be a show where it was supposed to be more of a positive thing, and this is more of just me dealing with the demons that I have going on. If that's not something you want to listen to, I totally understand, but for everyone else, I hope you at least understand where I'm coming from while I do this. I don't know how long this is going to be. I don't really have a schedule or anything for this. It just came off the top of my head that, well, stuff has happened in the past year, specifically in the last month, that I need to address and put out there, and some other stuff that I've been dealing with over the past year, which has really been hurting me. I guess I might as well go with the main topic of what's going on here. I tried to commit suicide 3 weeks ago. I'm not proud of it, and at the same time, I do feel like I should have went through with it. I've been struggling so very, very hard lately, and I don't have the answers to any of it. All I get is either go to therapy, which I have tried. I've tried to get in, and it's not as easy as you think, especially since people have been dealing with a lot of mental demons themselves in the United States since the pandemic died down, and they've been going through a lot of struggles and are still going into therapy. So trying to find one that's open, that'll take my insurance, and actually give me the care that I need is pretty much slim to none. Also, in the past year, someone called the cops on me for a wellness check, and that got me into seeing a psychologist, trying to get into therapy. I'm still on the waiting list to get into EMDR therapy, and the medications that I was on did not work for me. And there's only so many different times that I can just fail trying to find the right medication before I feel like I'm a failure, and I don't want to just have to keep trying it. Try a different one for a month. This might cause some really bad problems for you, but it needs to take at least 6 weeks to see if it's going to work for you, so you just have to weather those storms to see if you're going to be okay, and I can't weather storms anymore. I've really learned this, and I'm in the midst of it right now, and that's why I tried killing myself 3 weeks ago. Again, I'm not happy about it. I hate that I tried it, but also, again, at the same time, I wish I'd gone through with it. I was stopped. Had that person not stopped me, I would have 100% went through with it, because I'm not sure if there's anything left for me here. And I know how much that might hurt to hear. I mean, if you do care about me, I'm sure that that does hurt. I know that's becoming fewer and farther between with every subsequent year. But, just hearing that anyone wants to end their life is a tragic thing to hear. But 3 weeks later, I still feel the same way. I've been struggling so very, very hard, and I'm trying to do what I can to be okay. Now, there has been some positives that have also happened as well, so I don't want this to entirely come off like it's 100% bad, because that's not true. Over the past month, I have been going to see a chiropractor who has been really helping me be able to deal with my back and neck pain. Today, I had an appointment, and I still have a lot of problems with sciatic nerve pain and other horrible things like my knees can't touch together, or I end up in the most excruciating pain, and I wish I could stop it, but I can't. I'm not there yet. But every time I go to the chiropractor, I usually feel better. My back and my neck feel better, but I'm still having pains elsewhere, and that does not mean I won't wake up tomorrow feeling neck and back pain, because chiropractors are not miracle workers. They can only do so much, and I wish there was more that I could currently do right now to make sure that stays better. I'm trying to do exercises. The chiropractor gave me a list of different chiropractic approved exercises to help, and maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I'm not entirely sure, but it's less than it used to be for pain, and I guess that's better. I got a Nintendo Switch as well. I changed internet providers, and one of the things that they were giving away with it for switching over to them was a Nintendo Switch, brand new. So I've been enjoying that for around a month now. Really am enjoying it. I'm very happy that I got it. I'm playing a lot of games that I've wanted to play on the Switch for a long time. The Metal Fairy has one, but I don't feel right using it because we decided that's hers, and I don't feel right going through her stuff. I wouldn't feel right going through her computer. I wouldn't feel right going through her phone. I wouldn't feel right going through her purse. So I don't feel right going and playing games on her Switch either. I know that's a me thing, but hey, we got a free Switch out of this as well too, so this one's designated as mine. And of course, this is basically the big final year of the Switch, so hopefully I got into it at the right time, because I feel like a lot of first-party games are going to be going down in price at some point, and I'll be able to play a lot more if I stick around. Although it's funny, I did have a game crash happen. I was playing the remake of Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, and I got a crash, had to restart, and the file save corrupted, and I lost all my progress. So basically everything I've done over the past 4 days or so have been rendered absolutely meaningless. So that's always fun. And of course the real kicker to all of that is I was on the final boss. Of course that's gonna happen. But I'm not as... Before I probably would have cried over something like that, but now I just feel numb to it. It's like, yeah, of course that was gonna happen, which I don't know if that's better or worse. I guess that all depends on the type of person that you are, right? But I'm still gonna be playing games on the Switch, other games as well too. It's basically my one break outside of music that is my escape from reality. I really don't watch that much TV and movies and stuff like that. Occasionally I do, but my escape is gaming. And it used to be music. Well, actually, the combination of music and gaming together is how I like to do it. Like, I would turn off the sound on the TV and just blast the music that I want to play. That's how I do it, and I still do it to this day. And that's why I love that PlayStation and Xbox actually still have those features where you can do something like that, because that's exactly the way I like to play. I know it's not for everybody, and of course, those who make the games, there's a lot that goes into the sound design and licensing, if they do licensed tracks and all the stuff that goes into it, but it's my personal preference. That's how I am, and I'm not going to change that. I have also been doing more interviews lately. Over the last month and a half, 2 months, I've done more interviews in the past month and a half and 2 months than I've done basically all year. Basically around February, I stopped getting opportunities. A lot of PR that I loved just stopped replying to my emails, left me on red, or told me that they set up interviews. I got ready on Skype, and they didn't happen. So either the band ghosted me, or the PR forgot to put it through and wouldn't be honest with me about that. Didn't apologize or anything, and I just feel stupid. Thankfully, there is one PR that I'm working with right now who has set me up with a ton of interviews lately, and it's been pretty freaking cool. I've gotten to interview bands I've always wanted to interview. I've gotten to interview a lot of bands that are just starting. And next week, I'm going to be interviewing a band who, well, as long as everything goes right, hopefully interviewing a band that I've interviewed a few times now and is probably going to be one of my favorite albums of 2024. And if I make it long enough, I'll be talking about that at the end of the year, but also with the weekly reviews that I'm doing now, which I should also mention. I am doing weekly reviews in a series I'm calling Out Today and What I Missed. Basically, any albums that I've checked out that comes out on a particular Friday, I cover. Anything that I've checked out that came out before then, I cover at the end. So, Out Today and What I Missed. I'd like to think it's pretty simple. Over the last couple weeks, it's been getting a little bit more traction. Of course, this is all relative. I mean, the last couple weeks of videos have almost gotten 100 views, which is actually big for me because I'm used to getting anywhere from 0 to 20 on those. So seeing more of an uptick on that has been pretty cool. I also separate all the album reviews and put them up as YouTube shorts as well. I thought about putting them up on Instagram as well too, but that's just more work than I want to put into it. Maybe I could start doing that again with the way that I'm doing it now, but maybe that'll be a next year thing. I mean, it's gonna be July in a couple days, so not really worth it right now. Or maybe I could start doing it for July. I don't know. I'm kind of going through it in my head right now. But I am going back into the interview stuff. I am happy to receive any of the interviews I've been doing so far. I'm almost at 925 interviews in my entire career, which, again, is a pretty cool feeling. I'm inching ever closer to 1,000, but also at the same time, everything's been severely lacking over the past several months because of PR not getting back to me, not reaching out to me anymore. I have absolutely no idea what I did wrong. They used to come to me and I would be like, yeah, I'll do it, because there's very few people I won't interview because, well, I'm a very depressed, mentally ill guy. And one of the few breaks that I have from all the pain in my life is doing interviews. So being able to spend like 20 to 40 minutes, sometimes longer, sometimes shorter, and just being able to talk about music and not having to talk about my burdens outside of my head for a little bit is one of the best feelings in the world, which is why I still love doing it, and I hope those PR get back to me at some point. I would love to be able to continue to do interviews, but again, I don't hear anything anymore, so... But I still have at least one that wants to do interviews with me, so I'm very happy about that. I guess the other big thing that's been weighing on me is how incredibly lonely I am right now. Some days are better than others, and other days it helps me want to be underground. And that's part of the reason why I tried to kill myself 3 weeks ago. Not the only reason. There was a lot of multiple things that were happening at once, between the feeling of the trauma of my childhood problems, which all you have to do is go back and check out the previous episodes of Something Gives to find out all of that stuff. But loneliness is a huge one for me. It used to be something I was so used to. I used to think that was the only way to live. Back when I was a kid, I didn't have friends because, well, you know, my brother would make up lies about saying that I was gay and I was trying to have sex with boys in the high school gym, locker rooms, and other things. To those things. You can hear all that in the previous episodes, but basically, yeah, between my mom, my dad, and my brother, it was pretty much guaranteed I did not have friends. And especially during those formative years of preteen, teenage years, you know, when your mind's developing the most, it really messed me up. So I don't know how to make friends. I can't even reach out to people first. And that's another thing that goes back into the interview part that I was talking about before. Like, I can't reach out for an interview request because my body won't let me. I get such fear. I get trauma flashbacks, which has been rising in the past year. I've been getting so many trauma flashbacks and my body shakes and I feel rocked to the core. But yeah, I can't text anybody first. I can't reach out to anybody first. I can't call anybody first. If someone reaches out to me, I can do it just fine. But if I have to be the one to start it, it's never gonna happen because my trauma won't let me. And maybe, just maybe, some people think that that's me being an a-hole, that I don't want to be around people, when that couldn't be any further from the truth. It's my trauma holding me back. But all of that to say, back May 19th, or May 17th, my brother died 5 years ago, as of May 17th. And then May 23rd was 5 years since his funeral, which means that it's been 5 years since I've seen a family member, good or bad. And I talk about everything that happened in that funeral on this very show. Go back and check it out. But there was some good that came out of that funeral as well. My second oldest niece actually wants something to do with me, or at least at one point in time she did. I'm not going to reach out to her because she's living her own life, but we have talked a few times in the past year, and she's been living her life, and it's incredible to see, considering my family is so known for mental health issues and suicide attempts. It's not just me. I'm not the only one in my family that's tried to commit suicide, and sometimes successfully they have. But she has a partner. She's out of state. She's living her life. One of the last times I talked to her, she went to like an adult dance party kind of thing, like an emo night kind of thing. And we got to talk about music. I got to talk to her a little bit about metal and stuff like that. And I gave her some recommendations on bands that she might be into. So I thought that was really cool. And she actually checked out a couple of my interviews that I did from way back in the day when I was showing her interviews that I did with bands like Sabaton, which someone did very early in my career, and one that was several years later, but I'd like to think I'm doing them better now in 2024 than I ever have. I really do feel like I'm doing the best interviews of my career, even if no one's checking them out, but that's another topic for another day, I guess. But it all does kind of come back to all this, because coming up August 30th was the last time I went to a concert, and it was unfortunately Demons and Wizards. And the reason I say that is because Demons and Wizards featured John Schaefer of Iced Earth on guitar, and all you need to do is look him up. I don't need to talk about what he did, but that's a really bad memory that I hope I can change and not make that the last concert I go to. But there's a lot of reasons why I haven't gone, and a lot of reasons I may never go again. We'll see what happens. But it was Demons and Wizards, it was Lizzie Borden, and it was Tyr. And the reason I bring that up is not only was that the last time that I did something fun like that. I mean, the only other fun that I've had since then was going to see movies at movie theaters, or going to comic book nerd shops and looking at stuff. But it was also the last time I saw anybody that would consider me a friend. It was the last time in person. And I can't believe it's been almost half a decade. And with the way that my body and mind are going right now, I don't know if I'll ever see a friend in real life again, because part of me wants nothing more than to find friends, make friends, go do things with friends. If I can get my body back aligned, I want to be able to play drums again. I'd love to be in a band again. I miss playing my drums. It was my lifeline for so many years, and it got taken away from me, both physically, mentally, and due to unfortunate circumstances beyond my control. But I would really like to be able to play again one day, and I really hope I can. But on the other hand, I'm too scared to see anyone in person again, and there's so many reasons for that. The pandemic, becoming a recluse for the most part. I mean, I still get out. I mean, I have to go to chiropractor appointments. I have to do other things in life as well too, but like the idea of being around people scares me as well. I think that's also why, again, I love doing interviews the way that I do them now through Zoom, is because I'm just talking to someone through a black mirror. We just get to spend this time talking to each other, and then we're done. I would love for the conversations to be able to continue, but I never want to overstay my welcome. And I feel like 20, 40 minutes, sometimes longer, is all anyone should have to deal with me. And honestly, it should be less. I don't think people should have to deal with me. But of course, I've been dealing with that pretty much my entire life. And of course, before August 30th will come August 18th, which will be 24 years since the first time I tried to commit suicide. Almost a quarter of a century now. I can't believe it's been that long. And I don't know how I'm still here. People tell me it's strength, but it's not strength. Just like with my recent suicide attempt, it's not strength why I'm here. And if it's strength, it's physical strength of the other person that stopped me, because they overpowered me and I lost all my strength to be able to continue to keep trying. And even talking like this right now, I'm honestly surprised I'm not going for a foreign object or trying to go some other way to make attempt number 11, which I gotta admit, like I was talking about in the beginning, is weighing heavily on my mind now. I was hoping I was never gonna make attempt number 10, but here we are. Attempt number 11 feels more like an inevitability more than a what if, and that scares me so very, very much. It scares me because I want the pain to stop, and there's no way for me to be able to get over my trauma the way that I need to. I haven't just been sitting with a thumb up my butt, hoping that things would get better. I have been trying to do things, and I know if you follow me on social media, it doesn't feel like that's the case, but I assure you it is. I have no reason to lie about that. I have no reason to lie about any aspect of my life, because I'm one horrible situation away from trying to end my life again. So if I was going to lie, that's just going to bring more damage to me and probably try to make me go for it faster. And I don't want to do that. I honestly want to get better, and I am trying. But I only see a couple endings to this. Either A, I have to get brain damage so I can't remember the past, which is no way to live life. B, wait for Alzheimer's, which does run in my family. My grandma on my dad's side does have Alzheimer's, if she's still alive, and I think she is. Even before she got Alzheimer's, she stopped talking to me. I never heard why, but she did stop. But the last I heard, one of the last things my dad ever said to me was that my grandma had Alzheimer's, so it runs in the family, and there's every chance in the world that I could get it too. I hope I don't, but also there is that brief moment of senility where I might not remember the past, and that could be one of the greatest feelings ever. That's not to say I want that, but if I could just get that relief for a little bit. Wow. But then again, there's no cure for Alzheimer's, and towards the end it just becomes a psychological nightmare that you can't escape until you're dead. And that's no way to live life either. And of course, with therapy, the whole idea is that it's not a cure, it just gives you the tools that you need to try to get past things. And I'm aware of the breathing exercises, I'm aware of the 5 senses rules, I'm aware of all these things, and none of them work for me. I basically have to have my brain rearranged for this to stop. The pain never does seem to end. And if it's not for a physical reason, it's for a mental reason. If it's not for a mental reason, it's from trauma. It's from PTSD. It's anxiety, depression, all of it. And of course, my suicidal tendencies to go along with all of that. I mean, you don't try to kill yourself 10 times and not have suicidal tendencies. I mean, that's kind of how it goes with it. But also, in the fact of loneliness, I don't get to talk to people even online anymore the way that I used to. I mainly stick to Facebook more than anything. I know other apps have come and gone. Some have been horrendous. Some of them are things that I just have zero interest in. Facebook is just me being able to write my stuff down, sometimes make a picture, sometimes make a meme, sometimes share articles, and that's also how I promote Heavy Debriefings. For the most part, is everything under the meta system. But especially this year, there's more ads, there's more posts for pages for you to join, usually with interests that you have nothing to do with. Like, even today, I was getting a lot of Eminem group invites, like, join this group, and it's all Eminem memes, not the Candy, the rapper. And I haven't listened to Eminem since my brother played him all the time when I was growing up, and it's nothing against Marshall Mathers, I just have no interest, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't care if I listen. So that's not something I would be interested in joining, but I keep getting stuff for all that. I also keep getting stuff for football and baseball and other sports. I'm not a sports guy. Wrestling is as far as it goes, and I've basically almost lost all of my interest in wrestling for various reasons. So with all of that stuff happening, A, people aren't logging on to the meta system anymore of Facebook, Instagram, and Threads, and B, people just aren't seeing the stuff that I post anymore. And you know how it goes, out of sight, out of mind. And if you can't see my stuff and you forget what I do, you're gonna stop caring. Actually, that kind of reminds me that one PR did actually forget about me because he stopped seeing my posts on Facebook. I wonder if that's another reason why I haven't heard from him in several months. Maybe. But I don't get to hear from people anymore. Again, I could be the one to reach out, but if they wanted to talk to me, they would. And B, I can't reach out to people, like I mentioned before, because it is one of my biggest fears. It's one of my biggest weaknesses. I can't get over it. It puts me into such a fear, such a panic when I have to message someone first. If you message me, if you get a hold of me, I am just fine. But if I have to start it, I turn frozen. I'm panicked. I'm scared with fear and I can't move. I'm paralyzed in fear, and that's no way to live life. So I don't reach out to people. They don't reach out to me. I'm assuming they want it that way, or else they would reach out. But there are people that have reached out, and there's some that still do when I post stuff like what I'm doing right now, where I'm basically spilling my guts about how I'm feeling mentally. But it's becoming fewer and farther between every single year. And I know I'm not as popular with heavy debriefings as I used to be. I don't make the impact that I used to, and hell, that's probably why the PR isn't reaching out to me the way that they used to do interviews. My one escape from everything that's in my mind. Coming to a lot of realizations in this, and I'm probably going to wrap this up pretty soon. I wish there was more positive. I mean, I did list some positive throughout, but this is a pretty dark time in my life right now. I don't know when attempt number 11 is going to happen, and I don't want it to. But unless I can somehow battle my mental demons, it's going to happen again, and I really don't want it to. I just want to be better, but I also don't want to live in a padded cell the rest of my life. I want to be able to live my life and actually get to experience what most people in the world get to experience, and that's happiness. When you can look back and say, and life was great. That's also why it's the title of this episode, not just because it's Shaded Enmity, but if you listen to the lyrics to that song, it basically describes how I'm doing right now. So if you're someone that can be affected easily by stuff like that, try to be in as best a state of mind as you can before you check that song out, and especially check out the World Dane version, because that's all clean vocals and you can hear every single word. When it screams and growls and stuff like that, if you're not an expert in that and you don't listen to it all the time, you might not understand what they're saying. World Dane's not a screamer or a growler. He was a singer that really knew how to sing and belt it out, and hearing his version of this particular song makes it one of my favorite songs of all time, but it's also made it so much more haunting than I thought it could be. But yeah, I'm kind of just rambling more and more, but I guess basically, if you skipped all the way to the end, I'm struggling as much now as I ever have, and I'm afraid of when attempt number 11 is going to happen. And thank you for sticking around listening to the episode this time around. If you've made it this far without skipping it, I tip my hat off to you. As for me, I'm gonna just keep trying to be okay. I'm not, and I keep hearing again about the strength that I supposedly have that I don't have, but maybe it's there. Maybe I'll find that strength one day. Maybe I'll be able to conquer my demons. But until then, I am just struggling so very, very hard. I hate being alone, and I just wish this would stop. Thank you again for checking out episode 11 of the Something Gives podcast with Josh Rundquist. I'm really hoping that there won't be a 12th episode, because I only seem to do these when I'm doing mentally terrible, where I feel like there needs to be an update. Like, if it's up to me, there won't be an episode 12 until my mom dies, or one of my sisters dies, or something tragic like that. And of course, if I fall before that, I am sorry. Yeah, one last time, this is Something Gives podcast with Josh Rundquist, signing out. And if you want to be able to support me in any way, just check out the reviews I'm doing on here, check out the interviews that I do, check out the weekly podcast I do with the Metal Fairy, all that stuff. That helps me. Or if you do consider me an actual friend, please, I'm begging you, because I can't reach out to you first. Or why don't you look at it this way? This is me reaching out. Please talk to me. Let me know that you care. I need that more than anything right now. Thank you.